First contact jitters. The sleek, iridescent ship of the Galactic exchange program slowly descended through Earth's atmosphere, its hull shimmering as it adjusted to the planet's unique blend of gases. Inside, a group of alien students from various corners of the galaxy huddled nervously, their appendages twitching with anticipation and fear. Zixlora, a bioluminescent being from the aquatic world of Lumina, pulsed anxiously as she peered out of the viewport. Her tendrils curled tightly around her torso, a clear sign of distress to her classmates. "I still can't believe we're actually landing on a death world," she burbled, her voice translator struggling to convey the depth of her concern. Beside her, Krazk, an insectoid creature from the hive mind society of Collectiva, clicked his mandibles in agreement. The briefing docs were unsettling. He chittered. "Did you read about their extreme sports? They willingly jump off cliffs for fun." The ship's AI chimed in, its soothing tones designed to calm the anxious passengers. Reminder: Earth has been classified as a Class 12 death world due to its environmental hazards and the resilience of its dominant species. However, the Galactic Council has deemed it safe for supervised visitation. Your safety is our primary concern. As the vessel touched down on the landing pad of New Harvard University's interstellar campus, the alien students collectively held their breath, or equivalent respiratory functions. The airlock hissed open, allowing Earth's atmosphere to mingle with the ship's carefully calibrated internal environment. Professor Xanthul, a towering, gelatinous being serving as the group's mentor, oozed forward. "Remember your training," he gurgled encouragingly. "Observe, learn, but do not interfere. This is a unique opportunity to study one of the most fascinating and terrifying species in the known universe." The students filed out, their environmental suits adjusting to compensate for Earth's gravity and atmospheric composition. They were greeted by a small welcoming committee of humans, led by Dr. Emily Chen, the university's Dean of Extraterrestrial Studies. "Welcome to Earth." Dr. Chen beamed, her voice warm and inviting. "We're thrilled to have you here as part of our cultural exchange program. I hope you'll find your stay both educational and enjoyable." Zixlora's bioluminescence flickered rapidly, a sign of both excitement and apprehension. She extended a tentacle in what she hoped was a proper greeting, having studied human customs extensively. "Thank you for your hospitality, Dr. Chen. We are eager to learn about your world." Dr. Chen smiled, gently shaking the proffered tentacle. "Excellent. We've prepared a comprehensive orientation program to help you acclimate. But first, I'm sure you're all exhausted from your journey. How about we start with a traditional Earth welcome? A nice cup of coffee?" The alien students exchanged confused glances, their translators struggling to find equivalent terms in their native languages. "Coffee?" Krazk's antennae twitched curiously. "Is this some form of ritual cleansing?" Dr. Chen laughed, a sound that startled several of the more sensitive aliens. "Oh no, nothing like that. Coffee is a beverage, very popular here on Earth. It's a great way to boost energy and focus. Trust me, you'll love it." As the group was led towards the campus, Zixlora couldn't help but notice the number of humans clutching steaming cups, their faces showing expressions of contentment or relief as they sipped the dark liquid. Her curiosity piqued. She turned to Professor Xanthul. "Professor, did our briefing mention anything about this coffee?" The gelatinous mentor rippled thoughtfully. "Not specifically, no. It seems we have already encountered an unexpected cultural phenomenon. Remember, students, this is why direct observation is so crucial in xenoanthropology." The aliens were ushered into a cozy room filled with comfortable seating arrangements. The air was thick with an aroma unlike anything they had encountered before, rich, earthy, and slightly bitter. Several humans bustled about, preparing what appeared to be some kind of brewing apparatus. Dr. Chen gestured towards the setup. "This is a traditional coffee ceremony. We thought it would be a perfect way to introduce you to one of Earth's most beloved traditions." The alien students watched in fascination as hot water was poured over ground beans, the resulting liquid dripping slowly into containers below. The humans seemed to treat the process with an almost reverential air, their movements precise and practiced. Krask's compound eyes darted nervously between the brewing station and his fellow students. Is this some kind of alchemical process? Are they extracting psychoactive compounds? Before anyone could respond, a young human approached, carrying a tray laden with small cups filled with the steaming dark liquid. "Here you go," she said cheerfully. "Careful, it's hot." Zixlora tentatively reached out with a tendril, grasping one of the cups. She brought it closer, her sensory organs recoiling slightly at the intense aroma. "And humans consume this voluntarily?" she asked, her bioluminescence flickering with uncertainty. Dr. Chen nodded enthusiastically. "Oh yes, most of us drink it daily. Multiple times a day, in fact. It's an essential part of many people's routines." The alien students exchanged alarmed looks. Daily consumption of a seemingly potent brew. What kind of Deathworlders were they dealing with? With trepidation, Zixlora raised the cup to her mouth opening, taking the smallest sip possible. The effect was immediate and intense. Her entire body lit up like a supernova, tendrils flailing wildly as the caffeine hit her system. "By the cosmic void," she exclaimed, her voice translator glitching from the sudden surge of energy. This is. The humans watched with a mixture of concern and amusement as the alien students had their first encounter with coffee. Some, like Zixlora, reacted with explosive energy. Others, like Krask, went eerily still, their bodies processing the unexpected stimulant in various ways. Professor Xanfoul, ever the scientist, was furiously recording observations, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement. "Fascinating. It appears this coffee has significant psychoactive properties, yet the humans show no signs of distress or impairment. Could this be a key to understanding their remarkable adaptability?" As the initial shock wore off, the alien students found themselves buzzing with questions. How had humans developed a tolerance for such a potent substance? Was this the secret to their survival on a death world? And perhaps most importantly, why did they seem to enjoy it so much? Dr. Chen, sensing the growing curiosity, smiled. "I see you're all experiencing the effects of caffeine for the first time. Don't worry, it's perfectly safe for humans. In fact, many of us rely on it to get through our busy days." Zixlora, her bioluminescence now pulsing in time with her racing heartbeats, burbled excitedly. "But how? How can your species routinely ingest such a powerful stimulant without adverse effects?" "Yeah," Krask chimed in, his usual stoic demeanor shattered by the caffeine coursing through his system. "Is this some kind of human superpower, a result of evolving on a death world?" Dr. Chen laughed, a sound that seemed to both soothe and intrigue the overstimulated aliens. "It's nothing so dramatic, I assure you. Humans have simply developed a tolerance over time. Coffee has been part of our culture for centuries." As the orientation continued, the alien students found their perception of humans shifting dramatically. These weren't just resilient Deathworlders capable of surviving harsh conditions. They were beings who actively sought out and enjoyed substances that would incapacitate other species. The implications were staggering. If this was how humans approached a simple beverage, what other surprises lay in store? The galaxy had clearly underestimated these strange, caffeine-fueled creatures. As the day wore on, and the effects of the coffee began to wane, the alien students found themselves both exhausted and exhilarated. They had come to Earth expecting to study a fascinating but dangerous species. Instead, they were beginning to realize that they might be the subjects of study. Fragile cosmic travelers in a world where even the beverages packed a powerful punch. Zixlora, her bioluminescence finally settling into a more normal pattern, turned to her classmates. "I think," she said slowly, her voice translator struggling to convey the mix of fear and excitement in her tone, "that we may need to recalibrate our entire approach to this exchange program." Professor Xanfoul oozed agreement. "Indeed. If this is how humans start their day, who knows what other wonders or terrors await us. One thing is certain: our time on Earth promises to be far more stimulating than we ever anticipated. As night fell on their first day on this strange death world, the alien students retired to their specially prepared quarters, their minds racing with questions and possibilities. They had come seeking knowledge about humanity, and in just one day, they had discovered a beverage that challenged everything they thought they knew about these remarkable creatures. Little did they know, coffee was just the beginning of their journey into the complex, caffeinated world of human culture. As they drifted off to sleep, or their species equivalent, they couldn't help but wonder, what other surprises did Earth have in store for them? And more importantly, would they be able to handle it? The adventure had only just begun, and already it promised to be a wild, jittery ride through the fascinating world of Deathworlders and their beloved coffee. Caffeine Crash Course. The next morning arrived with a symphony of alien groans and befuddled chirps. The exchange students, still reeling from their first encounter with coffee, stumbled out of their quarters, each experiencing their species' unique version of a caffeine hangover. Zixlora's bioluminescence flickered weakly, her usually vibrant colors muted. "Is this what dying feels like?" she burbled miserably to Krazik, who was uncharacteristically silent, his antennae drooping. Professor Exanthul oozed into the common area, his gelatinous form rippling with what could only be described as scientific glee. "Fascinating after effects," he exclaimed, much to the chagrin of his suffering students. "It appears the human beverage has quite the impact on our varied physiologies." Before the aliens could fully gather their wits, Dr. Chen breezed into the room, looking annoyingly chipper. "Good morning, everyone. I hope you all slept well. Today's going to be exciting. We're starting with a comprehensive coffee tasting experience." The announcement was met with a chorus of alarmed squeaks, chirps, and gurgles from the alien students. "More coffee?" Krask chittered nervously. "Is this some form of human endurance test?" Dr. Chen laughed, a sound that made several of the more sensitive aliens wince. "Not at all. This is a cultural experience. Coffee isn't just a beverage for us. It's an art form, a social ritual, and for some, a way of life." The aliens exchanged worried glances as they were ushered into a large, airy room. The space was filled with various brewing apparatus, from sleek modern machines to what looked like ancient artifacts. The walls were adorned with charts detailing coffee bean varieties, roasting techniques, and brewing methods. A tall, enthusiastic human with a meticulously groomed beard stepped forward. "Welcome, interstellar friends. I'm Jasper, your guide to the wonderful world of coffee. Today, we're going to explore the rich tapestry of flavors, aromas, and experiences that coffee has to offer." Zixlora's tendrils curled tightly around her torso. "Is it too late to request a transfer to a less terrifying death world?" she whispered to Krazik, who merely clicked his mandibles in resigned agreement. Jasper, oblivious to the alien's distress, launched into an impassioned lecture on the history of coffee. The students listened with growing amazement as he described how a simple bean had shaped human history, sparking revolutions, fueling industrial progress, and becoming a cornerstone of global trade. "Now," Jasper said, clapping his hands together excitedly, "let's begin our tasting journey." What followed was a whirlwind tour through the world of coffee that left the alien students alternately amazed, confused, and occasionally twitching uncontrollably. They started with a light floral Ethiopian blend that made Zixlora's bioluminescence dance in patterns never before seen in the galaxy. Next came a dark, smoky Indonesian roast that caused Krask's exoskeleton to briefly change color, much to his alarm. Professor Xanthul, ever the scientist, diligently recorded every reaction, his gelatinous form vibrating with excitement. "The variety is astounding," he gurgled. "Each blend seems to affect our species differently. The implications for xenobiology are staggering." As the tasting progressed, the aliens found themselves reluctantly drawn into the complexity of coffee culture. They learned about fair trade practices, the art of latte foam designs, and the heated debates over espresso extraction times. Halfway through the session, a commotion near the back of the room caught everyone's attention. Grix, a crystalline being from a low-gravity world, was vibrating at an alarming frequency after sampling an especially potent espresso shot. "Oh dear," Jasper said, looking concerned for the first time. "I forgot to adjust the dosage for non-human physiologies. Quick, someone get Grix some water." As his classmates rushed to assist the over-caffeinated Grix, Krask turned to Dr. Chen. "I don't understand," he chittered. "If this substance has such powerful effects, why do humans consume it so casually? Surely it must be regulated." Dr. Chen smiled. "Well, it is to some extent. But for most humans, coffee is a harmless pleasure. Our bodies have adapted to metabolize caffeine efficiently. In fact, many of us can't function properly without our daily dose." This revelation sent a ripple of shock through the alien students. The idea that humans had not only adapted to a potent psychoactive substance, but had come to rely on it was mind-boggling. As the tasting session wound down, Jasper introduced them to the concept of coffee shops. "These are more than just places to get a caffeine fix," he explained. "They're social hubs, workspaces, and for many, a second home." The aliens were then taken on a virtual tour of famous coffee shops around the world. They marveled at the bustling cafes of Paris, the traditional coffee houses of Vienna, and the high-tech coffee bars of Tokyo. Humans will gather in dedicated buildings just to consume this beverage. Zixlora asked, her bioluminescence pulsing with curiosity. "Oh yes," Jasper replied enthusiastically. "Some people spend hours in coffee shops, working, socializing, or simply enjoying the atmosphere." This concept was particularly alien to Krask. But why? Surely there are more efficient ways to ingest nutrients and stimulants. Dr. Chen stepped in to explain. "It's not just about the coffee itself. It's about the experience, the ritual, the sense of community. Coffee shops have played crucial roles in human history. They've been hotbeds of philosophical discourse, artistic movements, and even political revolutions. The idea that a beverage could shape the course of a civilization's development was a lot for the alien students to process. They had come to Earth expecting to study human resilience in the face of a harsh environment. Instead, they were discovering a species that had taken a potentially dangerous substance and built a rich, complex culture around it. As the day's lessons came to an end, the alien students found themselves buzzing with more than just caffeine. Their perception of humanity was shifting dramatically. Zixlora, her initial fear now tempered with fascination, turned to her classmates. "I think," she said slowly, her bioluminescence pulsing thoughtfully, "that we may have underestimated these humans. Their ability to adapt isn't just physical, it's cultural, social, even chemical." Krask nodded, his antennae twitching in agreement. "Indeed. If this is how they approach a mere beverage, imagine what other aspects of their society we have yet to discover." Professor Xanthul oozed with pride at his students' insights. "Excellent observations. This is why direct cultural exchange is so valuable. We're not just learning facts about humans, we're beginning to understand how they think, how they adapt, how they transform their environment to suit their needs." As they retired for the evening, each alien student felt a mix of excitement and trepidation about what the rest of their stay on Earth might bring. They had survived their crash course in coffee culture, but it was clear that the human capacity for turning adversity into opportunity was far greater than they had imagined. Zixlora, her bioluminescence now a calm, contemplative pulse, voiced the thought that was on everyone's mind. If this is what humans do with a simple bean, what else are they capable of? The question hung in the air, a tantalizing mystery that promised to make their time on this strange, caffeinated death world an adventure beyond their wildest imaginings. As they drifted off to sleep, or their species equivalent, the alien students couldn't help but wonder what other seemingly mundane aspects of human life would turn out to be revolutionary. And more importantly, how would this new understanding change their view of humanity's place in the galaxy? Little did they know, their coffee-fueled journey into the heart of human culture was just beginning. The lessons learned in their caffeine crash course would prove invaluable in the challenges to come, as they delve deeper into the complex, stimulating world of Earth's most resilient species. Brewing tensions. As the alien exchange students entered their third week on Earth, they found themselves adapting to the planet's rhythms and its omnipresent coffee culture. What had once seemed like a terrifying psychoactive substance was now a familiar part of their daily routine, albeit one that still occasionally caused unexpected physiological reactions. Zixlora, her bioluminescence now pulsing in sync with the local circadian rhythms, was poring over historical texts in the university library. Her tentacles absently curled around a mug of what the humans called a pumpkin spice latte, a seasonal beverage that had initially alarmed her with its complex blend of flavors, but had quickly become a favorite. Fascinating, she burbled to herself, her voice translator barely audible in the quiet study space. It seems coffee has played a crucial role in numerous human historical events. Nearby, Krasik was engaged in a heated debate with a group of human students, his antennae twitching excitedly as he gestured at a holographic display of global trade routes. But surely, he chittered, basing so much of your economy on a single commodity is incredibly risky. What if the coffee plants were to succumb to disease or changing climate conditions? The human students laughed, a sound that no longer startled the alien visitors. Oh, believe me, one of them said, humans would find a way. We're pretty resourceful when it comes to getting our caffeine fix. Professor Exanthul oozed into the library, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement. Students, he gurgled, I have exciting news. We've been invited to participate in a special research project. The university is studying the long-term effects of coffee consumption on human society and economy. The alien students gathered around their mentor, their diverse forms creating a bizarre tableau that would have been shocking just a few weeks ago, but now seemed perfectly normal to the humans around them. Our unique perspective as outsiders could provide valuable insights, Exanthul continued. We'll be working alongside human researchers to analyze historical data, economic trends, and social patterns related to coffee consumption. Zixlora's bioluminescence flickered with curiosity. Professor, I've been reading about something called the Boston Tea Party. It seems humans once valued tea as much as coffee. What changed? The question sparked a lively discussion among the aliens and their human classmates. They delved into the complex history of colonial trade, revolution, and changing cultural preferences that had shaped the global dominance of coffee. As the days passed, the alien students found themselves deep in research, uncovering surprising connections between coffee and human progress. They learned about the coffeehouses of the Enlightenment era, where revolutionary ideas were born amidst the aroma of freshly brewed beans. They studied the role of coffee in fueling the Industrial Revolution, keeping workers alert during long shifts in factories and mines. Krasik, his analytical mind perfectly suited to data analysis, made a startling discovery. Look at this correlation, he chittered excitedly to his team. There's a clear link between coffee consumption and technological innovation. The regions with the highest per capita coffee intake also show the most patents filed and scientific papers published. The human researchers were impressed by the aliens' fresh perspective. Dr. Emily Chen, who had been overseeing the exchange program, commented, "You're seeing patterns we might have overlooked because we're too close to our own culture. This is exactly why intergalactic cooperation is so valuable." However, as the research progressed, a troubling trend began to emerge. The alien students, with their outsider's view, noticed something that had escaped human observers. The global coffee supply was showing signs of strain. Grix, the crystalline being who had once vibrated uncontrollably after an espresso shot, now floated serenely as he presented his findings to the research team. "The data is clear," he chimed, his voice resonating like wind through crystal. "Climate change, parasites, and overfarming are all contributing to a decline in coffee yield. If current trends continue, Earth could face a severe coffee shortage within the next decade." The revelation sent shockwaves through the research team. The human members, in particular, seemed unable to fully grasp the implications. "But that's impossible," one of them stuttered, clutching his coffee mug like a lifeline. "We'll find a way to increase production, or develop new strains, or—" Zixlora, her bioluminescence pulsing with concern, interjected gently. "I think what's troubling us is not just the potential loss of a beverage, but what it represents. From what we've learned, coffee is deeply intertwined with human productivity, socialization, and even identity. A shortage could have far-reaching consequences beyond just changing your morning routine." The room fell silent as the full weight of the situation sank in. The alien students exchanged worried glances, realizing that they had stumbled upon a potential crisis that could shake the very foundations of human society. Professor Exanthoul oozed thoughtfully, his gelatinous form rippling with concentration. "Perhaps," he gurgled, "this is an opportunity for us to give back to our gracious hosts. Our diverse backgrounds and unique perspectives might offer solutions that humans alone might not consider." The suggestion was met with enthusiasm from both the alien students and their human counterparts. Over the next few days, the research team shifted its focus from historical analysis to future projections and potential interventions. Kresk, drawing on his species' hive mind approach to problem solving, proposed a global network of smart, interconnected coffee plantations that could optimize growing conditions and respond quickly to threats. Zixlora, inspired by her homeworld's bioluminescent ecology, suggested genetically modifying coffee plants to glow when they needed attention or were ready for harvest, increasing efficiency and reducing waste. Grix, with his crystalline beam's understanding of energy transfer, developed a model for a revolutionary coffee brewing method that extracted maximum flavor and caffeine while using minimal resources. As the alien students threw themselves into the challenge of saving Earth's coffee supply, and by extension, a crucial part of human culture, they found themselves gaining a deeper appreciation for humanity's resilience and adaptability. "It's remarkable," Zixlora mused to her classmates one evening as they took a break from their research. "Humans built this complex global civilization in part thanks to a little bean. And now that it's threatened, they're not giving up. They're innovating, adapting, looking for new solutions." Krasik clicked his mandibles in agreement. "Indeed, it's making me see their Deathworld survival skills in a new light. It's not just about physical toughness. It's their creativity, their ability to turn challenges into opportunities." Professor Exanthoul beamed, or at least his gelatinous form seemed to glow with pride. "Excellent observations, students. This is the true value of cultural exchange. We're not just learning about humans, we're learning from them, and in turn offering our own unique contributions." As news of the potential coffee crisis and the innovative solutions proposed by the alien research team spread across campus and beyond, the exchange students found themselves at the center of a growing movement. Humans from all walks of life were reaching out, eager to collaborate, share ideas, and work together to secure the future of their beloved beverage. What had started as a simple cultural exchange was rapidly evolving into something much more significant. The alien students, once overwhelmed by the strangeness of Earth and its caffeinated inhabitants, were now playing a crucial role in shaping the planet's future. As they worked tirelessly alongside their human counterparts, fueled by the very substance they were trying to save, the aliens couldn't help but feel a growing sense of connection to this strange, wonderful, coffee-obsessed world. Little did they know, their greatest challenge, and their greatest opportunity to understand the true essence of humanity, was yet to come. The looming coffee crisis would test not only their newfound knowledge and skills, but also their understanding of what it truly meant to be a part of Earth's unique, resilient, and endlessly adaptable culture. As the research team worked late into the night, the aroma of coffee filling the air, there was a sense of anticipation, a feeling that they were on the brink of something momentous. The future of coffee, and perhaps of human civilization itself, hung in the balance. And at the heart of it all were a group of alien students who had come to study humanity, but now found themselves an integral part of its ongoing story. Espresso Exodus. The global coffee crisis hit faster and harder than anyone had anticipated. What had started as a theoretical threat in research papers quickly became a stark reality. Coffee harvests around the world began to fail at an alarming rate, sending shockwaves through the global economy and human society. Zixlora stood before a massive holographic display in the university's Crisis Management Center, her bioluminescence flickering rapidly as she processed the incoming data. Red warning signs blinked across a map of the world, indicating coffee-producing regions in distress. "It's worse than we predicted," she burbled, her voice translator barely able to keep up with her agitated state. "The coffee rust fungus has mutated, becoming resistant to all known treatments. South American plantations are reporting total crop failures." Krasik chittered nervously as he analyzed economic projections. "Global markets are in freefall. Coffee futures have skyrocketed, and we're seeing panic buying and hoarding on an unprecedented scale." Professor Xanfool oozed between his students, his gelatinous form rippling with concern. "And how are the humans responding?" As if on cue, the Crisis Center screens lit up with news feeds from around the world. The images were chaotic. Long lines outside coffee shops, protests in major cities, and governments holding emergency sessions to address the looming coffee-geddon. Dr. Emily Chen rushed into the room, looking haggard. "It's madness out there," she said, collapsing into a chair. "People are acting like it's the end of the world. I've never seen anything like it." The alien students exchanged worried glances. They had come to Earth to study humanity, but now they found themselves witness to a civilization in crisis. The fragility of human society, so dependent on a single plant species, was laid bare before them. "We need to do something," Zixlora declared, her bioluminescence pulsing with determination. "We can't just stand by and watch." The next few weeks were a blur of activity as the alien students threw themselves into the heart of Earth's coffee crisis. They worked tirelessly alongside human scientists, agronomists, and policymakers, bringing their unique perspectives and advanced knowledge to bear on the problem. Krasik, drawing on his species' hive mind efficiency, helped coordinate a global network of researchers working on developing fungus-resistant coffee plant strains. His ability to process and synthesize vast amounts of data proved invaluable in accelerating the research. Grix, with his crystalline being's deep understanding of molecular structures, focused on creating a synthetic coffee substitute. "If we can't save the plants," he chimed, "perhaps we can recreate the essential compounds that humans find so stimulating." Zixlora, leveraging her homeworld's advanced ecological management techniques, worked on designing self-sustaining, climate-controlled coffee biodomes. These could potentially allow coffee production in regions previously unsuitable for cultivation, diversifying the global supply. But as they worked, the aliens couldn't help but marvel at the human response to the crisis. Yes, there was panic and chaos, but there was also an incredible resilience and creativity that continually surprised them. Underground coffee speakeasies sprang up in cities around the world, where connoisseurs traded rare beans like precious gems. Baristas became revered as artists, using their skills to stretch dwindling supplies and create innovative coffee-like concoctions. Perhaps most surprisingly, a new social movement emerged. Caffeine consciousness groups advocated for mindful consumption, arguing that the crisis was an opportunity to reassess humanity's relationship with stimulants and productivity. Professor Xanfool was particularly fascinated by this development. "Remarkable," he gurgled during a team meeting. Faced with the loss of a substance they once considered essential, humans are adapting not just technologically, but philosophically. They're questioning fundamental aspects of their culture. As the crisis deepened, the alien students found themselves unexpectedly thrust into the spotlight. Their unique insights and contributions had not gone unnoticed, and soon they were being called upon to address global forums and advise world leaders. Zixlora, Her bioluminescence, carefully modulated to appear soothing on camera, gave interviews to global news networks. "We remain hopeful," she burbled diplomatically. "Humanity's greatest strength is its adaptability. This crisis, while severe, is an opportunity for innovation and growth." Krasik found himself testifying before the United Nations, his antennae twitching nervously as he presented the latest research findings. "While we cannot undo the damage to existing coffee crops," he chittered, "our collaborative efforts have yielded promising leads for future sustainable production." But as the aliens worked to help humanity through its coffee crisis, they found themselves grappling with unexpected emotions. They had come to Earth as observers, scientists studying a fascinating species on a dangerous world. Now they felt deeply invested in the planet's fate, connected to its people in ways they hadn't anticipated. Late one night, as the research team took a rare break, Zixlora confided in her fellow aliens. "I never expected to feel this way," she burbled softly, her bioluminescence dim and thoughtful. "These humans, their planet, it's no longer just a subject of study. I care what happens to them." Krasik nodded, his antennae drooping slightly. "I understand. Their resilience, their creativity in the face of adversity. It's admirable. More than that, it's inspiring." Grix chimed in agreement, his crystalline form resonating with emotion. "We came here to learn about human adaptability on a death world. But perhaps we're the ones who have truly adapted. This world, these people, they've changed us." Professor Xanthul oozed proudly as he listened to his students. "This, my dear pupils, is the true essence of xenoanthropology. We don't just study other cultures, we allow ourselves to be transformed by them. Your empathy, your emotional investment, this is the highest form of understanding." As the group fell into contemplative silence, the ever-present aroma of coffee wafted through the air, a scent that had once seemed foreign and threatening, but now felt comforting, almost like home. Suddenly, an alert chimed on their communication devices. A breakthrough had been made in one of the research labs. A potential solution to the coffee crisis was on the horizon. As the alien students rushed to respond, energized despite their exhaustion, they realized that they were no longer just observers in humanity's story. They had become part of it, their fates intertwined with the very species they had come to study. The coffee crisis had brought humanity to the brink, revealing both its vulnerabilities and its strengths. But it had also forged unexpected bonds across the stars, proving that even in the face of a caffeinated apocalypse, there was hope to be found in unity, adaptation, and a shared love for a simple cup of coffee. As they plunged back into their work, the aliens knew that whatever the outcome, their experience on Earth had changed them forever. They had come seeking knowledge about humanity's survival skills on a death world, but they had found something far more valuable: a deep appreciation for the complexity, resilience, and warmth of the human spirit. The next phase of their adventure was about to begin, and with it, the possibility of not just saving Earth's coffee, but of forging a new understanding between their species that could reshape the galaxy itself. Grounds for peace. The dawn broke over a changed Earth. The great coffee crisis, which had threatened to unravel the fabric of human society, was finally showing signs of abating. In research centers, government buildings, and makeshift labs across the planet, humans and aliens worked side by side, fueled by a combination of synthetic caffeine substitutes and sheer determination. Zixlora stood at the window of the university's main laboratory, her bioluminescence pulsing with a mix of exhaustion and hope. The past few months had been a whirlwind of activity, pushing her and her fellow alien students to their limits. But now, finally, there was light at the end of the tunnel. "We did it," she burbled softly, her voice translator barely above a whisper. "We actually did it." Behind her, Krasik chittered excitedly as he pored over the latest data. The new hybrid coffee plants are showing a 95% resistance rate to the fungus, and early taste tests are promising. The humans can barely tell the difference. Grix chimed in, his crystalline form vibrating with excitement. and my team's synthetic caffeine compound is ready for mass production. It's not quite coffee, but it'll keep humanity going until the new crops are ready." Professor Exanthul oozed into the room, his gelatinous form rippling with pride. "Excellent work, all of you. But remember, our job isn't finished yet. Now comes the hard part, helping humanity transition to this new reality." The aliens nodded solemnly. They had learned enough about human nature to know that change, even necessary change, often met with resistance. Over the next few weeks, the alien students found themselves at the forefront of a massive public education campaign. They traveled the world, giving lectures, demonstrations, and interviews, explaining the science behind the new coffee alternatives and hybrid plants. Zixlora, her bioluminescence carefully modulated to appear soothing on camera, became a familiar face on news broadcasts. "Think of this as an evolution of your coffee culture," she explained to a skeptical audience. "You're not losing coffee, you're gaining a more resilient, sustainable version of it." Krasik found himself testifying before agricultural committees and farmers' unions. "The new hybrid plants aren't just resistant to disease," he chittered enthusiastically. "They're also more adaptable to different climates. This could democratize coffee production, allowing new regions to participate in the global market." Grix, meanwhile, became an unlikely hit on cooking shows, demonstrating how his synthetic caffeine compound could be used in traditional coffee recipes. "It's not about replacing your beloved coffee," he chimed, his crystalline form glittering under the studio lights. "It's about giving you options, ensuring you never have to face a caffeine shortage again." As the aliens worked tirelessly to help humanity adapt to its new coffee reality, they found themselves reflecting on how far they'd come. What had started as a simple exchange program, an opportunity to study the infamous Deathworlders, had turned into something far more profound. One evening, as the team gathered for a rare moment of relaxation, Dr. Emily Chen raised a mug of the new hybrid coffee in a toast. "To our alien friends," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You came here to study us, but you ended up saving us. Humanity owes you a debt we can never repay." The alien students shifted uncomfortably, unused to such praise. It was Professor Xanthul who spoke up, his gelatinous form rippling thoughtfully. "My dear Dr. Chen," he gurgled, "I believe you have it backwards. We came here expecting to study a species that had merely survived a harsh world. Instead, we found a civilization that has thrived, that has taken the challenges of their environment and turned them into opportunities for growth and innovation." He paused, his form undulating in what the humans had come to recognize as deep emotion. "The coffee crisis didn't just show us humanity's dependence on a single crop. It showed us your incredible adaptability, your creativity in the face of adversity, and your capacity for global cooperation when it truly matters." Zixlora's bioluminescence pulsed in agreement. "We've learned more from you than we could have ever imagined," she burbled. "Your resilience, your optimism, your ability to find humor even in the darkest times, these are traits that our own societies could learn from." Krasik chittered softly, his antennae twitching thoughtfully. "Indeed, we came to study how humans survive on a death world. We're leaving with a new understanding of what it means to truly live, to not just endure challenges but to grow from them." As the group fell into contemplative silence, each sipping their new hybrid coffee, they realized that something profound had shifted. The lines between observer and observed, between alien and human, had blurred. In working together to solve the coffee crisis, they had forged bonds that transcended species and cultures. In the months that followed, as Earth's new coffee industry bloomed and the planet slowly returned to a new normal, the impact of the alien students' presence continued to ripple outward. Their story became a symbol of interstellar cooperation, a testament to the power of diversity and shared purpose. Universities across the globe began clamoring for their own alien exchange programs. Earth's governments, recognizing the value of extraterrestrial perspectives, established a permanent advisory council of alien scholars. And in perhaps the most touching development, A new coffee blend named Xenoblend, created collaboratively by human and alien scientists, became a bestseller, its packaging featuring stylized depictions of the alien students who had helped save Earth's coffee. As their time on Earth drew to a close, the alien students found themselves reluctant to leave. They had arrived as curious observers and were departing as honorary Earthlings, their lives forever changed by their time on this caffeinated death world. In a final press conference before their departure, Zix Laura spoke for the group, her bioluminescence glowing warmly. "We came to Earth expecting to study how life survives in harsh conditions," she burbled, her voice translator conveying deep emotion. "Instead, we learned how life thrives, adapts, and finds joy even in the face of adversity. We may have helped save your coffee, but you have given us so much more. A new perspective on what it means to be alive in this vast, wonderful universe." As their ship prepared for departure, the alien students took one last look at the blue-green planet that had become their second home. Earth, with all its dangers and wonders, its challenges and triumphs, its laughter and its coffee, had left an indelible mark on their hearts. They left not just with suitcases full of coffee samples and research data, but with a profound appreciation for humanity's resilience, creativity, and unwavering spirit. And as their ship disappeared into the stars, they carried with them the seeds of a new understanding, one that promised to bridge the gaps between worlds and species, one cup of coffee at a time. Back on Earth, as humans sipped their morning brew, whether it was traditional coffee, the new hybrid blend, or the synthetic alternative, they did so with a newfound appreciation for their place in the universe. The great coffee crisis had nearly broken them, but with a little help from their alien friends, they had emerged stronger, more adaptable, and more connected to the cosmos than ever before. And so, Earth continued its journey through the stars, its inhabitants forever changed by their brush, with caffeine-fueled catastrophe and the unexpected friendships it had forged. The death world that had once been seen as a galactic curiosity was now recognized as a beacon of resilience and innovation, a shining example of what's possible when diverse minds come together over a simple cup of coffee.